So, Don Nakamura. My name is Sage Blake. I'm a wanderer, storyteller, artist immature, and apparently someone threw me a gift sub to Terran Crimson. I appreciate. He's a really nice streamer, just saying. I've been watching him play through, well, as of when this is going through, it's been like the second week already, plus a little more, of 9 hours, 9 doors, 9 persons. And holy hell. Like, my sister purchased the game at some point, and it is a very, very tense experience. I would actually recommend it if you happen to like visual novels and whatnot. But that aside, this is Vectorman. On the YouTube side of things, you might be very intimately aware of my love for the sound design of Vectorman, because I happen to use a whole bunch of the voice clips, and especially so for Vectorman, his voice, for a lot of my videos. I grew up with this game. It's 2049, and Earth's cities, forests, and ice caps are fouled with toxic sludge. Humanity has escaped the stars, leaving mechanical Orbots to clean up. One powerful Orbot, Raster, oversees the cleanup through a planet-wide commnet. Tragedy strikes when in error, attendants connected a salvaged nuclear bomb to Raster's master control circuits. Warhead is born, and he stands for tyranny, hatred, and oppression. By Warhead's decree, Earth is forged into an instrument of death for the returning humans. Vectorman lands his space barge after delivering a load of sludge to the sun. Unhindered by evil mind control, he will not rest until Warhead is defeated, and the Earth is again free. Vectorman is a 16-bit, though you'd be hard-pressed to argue that. Because, honestly, some of these graphics and whatnot do genuinely look like they're 32-bit, if anything. But regardless, it's 16-bit platformer action game, developed by Blue Sky. And Blue Sky back in the day was known for making quite a few different popular games, up to and including the Jurassic Park titles, which people vastly remember. Specifically, classic Jurassic Park, and also Rampage Edition, which was essentially better Jurassic Park. I've already played through the original Jurassic Park last year, and again, it's one of the games that defined my childhood, believe it or not. This one is too, to a limited extent, because back in the day, one of the first several games that we got for our Nintendo GameCube was actually Sonic Gems Collection, and on... fuck. There's my commentary. I'm sorry if I'm just gonna, like, speak a mile a minute. That happens sometimes, especially with games that I happen to like. Ah! You! Right, back to the subject at hand. Sonic Gems Collection. That game exists, and on Sonic Gems Collection was this game. As well as its sequel, if I remember correctly, Vectorman 2. We'll probably get to that one. Probably not today, but it's something on the itinerary. Regardless, I know a few things about this game, like some secrets here and there, because I used to play the hell out of this back in the day. I gave it my all. It was one of the first games that I decided, you know what, I'm going to try to 100% this. Well, quote-unquote 100%. This is a retro game after all, so that type of thing doesn't exactly exist. But yeah, there are a whole bunch of secrets hidden around, such as invisible platforms like here, that can lead to some very, very interesting things. Very useful power-ups, and especially so, maximum health pickups. One of the best weapons you'll find in the game is the energy bolos that I'm using right now. They deal piercing damage to targets, can deal multiple hits, through this piercing damage, and it's an absolute boss butcher. Hell, look at that. 3 shots, and that thing's already dead. Whenever I get bolos, I try to keep it for as long as possible. I try to be very conservative with using it for shooting. Or if I do have to use it for shooting, I very, very carefully measure my shots. Just to avoid wasting it. It's that powerful of a gun. There are a whole bunch of other pickups that you can get within this game, such as the drill power-up that we got earlier, which, for a short time, makes you invincible and allows you to pierce a floor. Again, read as a floor. Oop. Yeah. This is a bit of a tricky setup. I didn't realize I got hit with that. Nice on. Oh! Perfect. 1 up. There are a few different monitors here that you could break. One of them will give the rapid fire shot. It's okay, honestly. You can hold down the button to shoot a stream of shots rapid fire, deal damage that way. But the big flaw with it is that the shots arc. Normally, Vectorman's photon shot doesn't arc. It travels in a straight line. And one of, I believe, like 5 different lines, usually. Unless you're in the air, in which you can fire at diagonals below you. Bomb power-up. For a short time, you become a bomb. When you hit the shoot button, you detonate and destroy things around you, including in walls like this. And that is going to be one of the big pickups that we're going to try to get every so often. I don't remember where all of them are, but there are health extension pickups in some stages. If you're playing on the higher difficulties, like I am right now, pick them up. They will save your bacon. Especially since the higher difficulties actually increase the health of enemies, if I remember correctly. There. Also, be very careful about flashing lights. I should have probably given a warning, but oh well. You! It's fine. If I remember correctly, you keep the health extension until you have to use continue. And continues are limited within this game. Whoa. On occasions, you'll find multiple pickups, like ×2, ×5, ×10. What they do is that they will increase the amount of score that you can get. Score dictates 1-ups, so might be in your best interest to pick them up. They don't last forever, however. Make sure to take advantage of them when you get them. Well, this sucks. I didn't realize I was this rusty. Right, this descent. If you're very careful, then you can get a whole bunch of pickups like this, including health pickups. Unfortunately, more often than not, I just fall into the first boss. And I think Dixord is messaging me. Introducing the dropship. So aptly named because it just throws down a whole bunch of bombs. Really simple patterns to understand. When it opens its hatch, shoot into it. It sweeps left, right, drops bombs, sweeps right, left, with its maces, voila. Be very careful. More often than not, I'm not careful. You. This is gonna be a thing I say now, isn't it? The monitors that I've been breaking can not only house a whole bunch of pickups and whatnot, but they're also necessary for store at the end of each stage. Bolos. Unfortunately, this is one of the few instances where Bolos aren't exactly great. Because if I remember correctly, Bolos do not deal multiple hits to this boss. Whoop. Damn it. So far, so good. Yeah. Good so far. Usually the corners are mostly safe, so make sure to use that to your advantage. There we go. Something fell, and I don't know what. That's worrying. At the end of every stage, you get points for the TVs you destroy, the photons you collect, and your remaining health, and the time. But more impressingly, day 2. Metalhead is a bit of a wake-up boss. It can be very frustrating to deal with, especially since it's not exactly obvious what its patterns are, and how to damage it. You just need to shoot at its hands, avoid the shots that are coming at you. You should be fine after it falls like 5 times, I think. There we go. This thing used to give me trouble as a kid because I didn't recognize how to damage the boss, and I kept getting pressured by the time limit. The time limit's actually very forgiving. It doesn't look like it, but it is. Also, feel free to grind up some health after you've lost it, inevitably, from Metalhead. Vectorman is a 3-button game, as you'd expect from a Sega Genesis classic. You have a jump button, a shoot button, and your other button is also shoot, sure. But most pressingly, Vectorman has 2 methods of attack. Sure, there's the obvious photon shots that you can just pepper enemies with, and they deal decent damage, especially out of distance. But most people would be kind of puzzled about that, because I said 2 methods of attack. And believe it or not, your double jump actually counts as a means of attack. It's a bit situational, but you can use it to deal quite a lot of damage to enemies at close range. Is it ideal? Not all the time. But in some situations, and I'll try to show off those situations when we get to them, it is a godsend. This thing. Don't get too close to it, otherwise it'll try to whip you with its bubble tail. Whoop! If you have a bomb power-up, you can get through this gap here. If I remember correctly, there's one coming up to the right, and you can scroll yourself left to go back to it. Yep, right here. Otherwise, you could just advance to the right with this bomb power-up. But I want to show off as much as I can, because I know a bit about this game. Okay, that was kind of funny. In the background of... Okay, so a little explanation on what I was laughing at. Persona 5 is well known for a whole bunch of songs, right? You never see it coming. That happens to be a ringtone that my sister and my mother use. My mom's not a gamer, but she still appreciates the soundtrack of some video games. Whoop. Just be a bit acrobatic about this. Good. One more for good measure. I'm not sure if I mentioned it yet, but be very careful about the special weapons you pick up. They have limited ammo. At that, also know that your double jump booster does not damage these. This aquatic power-up here is going to be fairly useful in other stages going forward. While you're powered up like this, you are invincible. Ah. It also allows you to swim through the water, which is going to be very useful in several stages. Because, yes, there are water levels. No, they're not as bad as you think they are. I mean, I'd like to think that this level is not bad. It can be a bit annoying on occasions, but honestly, the annoyance is minor. Extra score. Oh, come on! Yeah, unfortunately, that's just one of the big things about the double jump. It's really powerful when you can land it, but in exchange, you gotta get uncomfortably close to enemies sometimes. And at this point, I'm gonna just hope I can find some HP from one of these guys. Or you. Nope, that's a bomb. Boom! Nothing from the nautical mine. So in that case... Perfect. There are two different types of health pickups. Actually, there might be three, actually, thinking about it. Oh, this. Very rarely in the game you could find a screen move power-up. When I use this thing, be very careful, because, it will, flash. It also lasts for quite a while, so after using it, make sure to move around a little bit. You might be able to hit a few enemies along the way. Times 10 multiplier. Time to get swimming. Crap. Good score boost. Break that. Fortunately, if you find any of these turrets on the ground, then you kind of get a free buy. Just crouch, you should be able to shoot them out of no problem. Ah, wave gun. Wave gun is fairly useful. It can hit enemies maybe 2, maybe 3 times after it extends. It's especially good at taking out enemies from a distance, because, well, they're shooting in a wider area. Against some bosses, though, it's kinda eh. Ah! Whoop! Not today. If there's a gun that I just shoot for the sake of shooting, it's this one. Come on, TV. Perfect. Full health. And end of stage. Day 4, Absolute Zero. This is another gate of mine growing up. Not because the stage is hard. If anything, the stage is fairly simple. It's an ascending stage. You start at the bottom, you gotta work your way to the top. The challenges you find along the way are very easy to understand, very easy to work past. Hold on a couple seconds. Why is my text showing up as pink? I guess that's just the color for that. Okay, whatever. But yeah, this stage is essentially an ascending stage. Start at the bottom, work your way to the top. There are some points of frustration places. But by far the biggest one is toward the top of the stage. If not at the top of the stage. Woo! You are going to find a whole bunch of swimming power-ups though. Make sure to use them, because it'll help you ascend the stage much more easily. Crap. At that, if I remember correctly, one of these weird nooks also has like a passageway in it. It might be toward the top, and that's what leads to the boss. I don't know, here's one. But apparently we need a thinger to blow up that wall. I'm not sure if this swim power up. No, it does not. Damn. So yeah, I guess you do need a means to blow that up. Whoop! Not today, Claw. Here's another health extension in case you might need it. Want it. And a one-way passage, because why not? Crap. Be very careful with this thing. If anything, this is not a good angle to approach it from. Whoop. $1 for that. Swim power up. We got the health extension, so we don't necessarily need to linger on this stage any longer. But I would like some HP. This is one of two quick ways to get to the boss of this level, and good luck against the boss. It has 3 forms. The first form here is one that dive bombs, tries to shoot at you. It's relatively simple. Just try to advance on it in the opposite direction in which it's coming from, shoot it, just shoot into the sky, you'll eventually kill it. God damn. Ah, crap. Now I gotta be especially careful. Crap. The second phase was what murdered me as a kid, because this bear has quite a bit at its disposal. It can do some cross shots, it can move fairly quickly on the ground, it's constantly shooting on the ground, and is just an absolute annoyance. Crap. Ugh. And that's game over. Really?